Welcome to session 12. Our discussion in this session is going to be about, yes, very good, it's going to be about composition levy, which is covered in section 10 of CGST Act. So shall we start our discussion of composition levy? Just let me know. Yes, very good. So, question is, what is composition levy? So composition levy is a alternative tax. You can say it's an alternative way of paying tax, isn't it? It's an alternative way of paying tax. You can say it's a presumed way of paying tax. Who all is eligible for this alternative levy? So eligibility is with respect to any registered person. Who is eligible? Any registered person whose aggregate turnover of the last financial year is not exceeding 150 lakhs. Is the eligibility clear to you? So we have to discuss who is eligible. See, in last financial year their turnover, okay, was not exceeding 150 lakhs, or you can say 1.5 crores. But in the 8 states which we are talking, AUMMNST, Arunachal, Uttarakhand, Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura. Okay, here you consider limit of how much? Here you consider limit of 75 lakhs. The threshold limit is 75 lakhs. Very good. Now understand, is this scheme compulsory or is this scheme optional? This scheme is totally optional. Okay, it's not necessary that since my turnover in last year was not exceeding 150 lakhs and I'm in state of Maharashtra, so it's not compulsory that I should opt for composition scheme. This scheme is totally optional. If I opt for this scheme, then, and I'm a manufacturer, then the rate of GST is 1% of turnover in the state. It's 0.5% CGST, 0.5% SGST. Then for other suppliers means traders, also it is 1%, but it is 1% of taxable turnover. You know the difference between A and C point, between manufacturers and traders. Both may seem 1%, but in case of manufacturers it is 1% of turnover in the state, and in case of other suppliers it is 1% of taxable turnover, mind you. And of course for restaurant service providers it is 5% of turnover. So these percentages which I am talking about are total percentages, means CGST plus SGST. I hope you know this point. What all this turnover should include and exclude? Which turnover I am saying? Aggregate turnover, for deciding whether I am eligible for composition scheme or not. The aggregate turnover should include, see, just now before the break we did registrations aggregate turnover, means section 2 subsection 6 aggregate turnover. Absolutely same thing continues here. But point which I want to tell you is that interest, do you remember interest on FD? That interest on FD should be excluded. Agreed? Okay. And this point also I will tell you what is there in the special note and what it excludes, that you know. Okay, same thing as it was in section 2 subsection 6, which we have already covered for registration. Absolutely same. See, who is not eligible for composition scheme? So before going to this point we will go to some questions. Okay, so go to these additional questions which I have sent you for composition scheme. extra questions. Very interesting questions. Even if you understand these questions, plus 1 2 extra questions which I have given you in Excel file, it will mean that you have understood the whole topic. See, now majorly where students go wrong is they don't analyze whether eligibility to composition scheme is asked or the tax payable is asked. So you should first categorize what exactly is the intention of examiner. So right now in this first question they are asking you whether A Limited is eligible to opt for composition scheme in FY 21-22. So tell me, to decide this eligibility, you should check turnover of which year? You should check turnover of preceding financial year. You cannot just say previous year, because previous year is the concept in income tax. So you will say preceding financial year. Yes. So which is preceding financial year? 2021. So check 2021's turnover is given to you. Isn't it also important to check that this particular entity is from which state? Absolutely yes, because that will decide the threshold limit. So it's a manufacturing concern in Pune. So Pune, Maharashtra. So what's the threshold limit? Threshold limit is 1 crore 50 lakhs. Yes. Total value of supplies including inward supplies taxed under reverse charge basis is 1 crore 53 lakhs 60,000. So prima facie I am not eligible because it's exceeding 1.5 crores. But check the breakup. What should be included? What should not be included? Intrastate supplies include. Intrastate supplies which are chargeable to GST at nil rate also include, because you include in aggregate turnover even the exempt supply, non-taxable supply, isn't it? Check. Intrastate supply which are wholly exempt include. What about inward supplies on which tax is payable on reverse charge basis? This is supposed to be excluded. So please exclude 2,60,000. And as discussed with you, exempt supply of service, which not every exempt supply of service will be excluded, but it is with respect to interest earned on FD with bank. This interest earned on FD with bank will be excluded. So please exclude 1 lakh also. So from 1 crore 53 lakh 60,000, 2 lakh 60,000 and 1 lakh will be subtracted, and 1 crore 50 lakhs will be your aggregate turnover of preceding financial year. Now tell me, are you eligible for composition levy? Answer is absolutely yes, because aggregate turnover in preceding financial year is not exceeding 1.5 crores. So exact 1.5 crore is also accepted. Clear, all of you? Anand, is it clear? Murasa, is it clear? Yes. Ketki, Pratiksha? Yes. Very good. We will go ahead now to second question. See. Yes, Karthik, very good. A Limited, a manufacturing concern in Rajasthan, has opted for composition scheme. Did you get the point? It has opted for composition scheme. So there is no second opinion about that. They have opted. They will not ask you eligibility now. It furnishes you following information for FY 2021. It requires you to determine you have to compute its composition tax liability and total tax liability. Okay, that's the question asked. Can you mark that it is a manufacturing concern? So why it is important to know that it's a manufacturing concern? so that you understand that the rate of GST under composition scheme is 0.5% CGST and 0.5% SGST, that is total 1% of turnover in the state. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. In FY 1920, that is last year, the total value of supplies including inward supplies taxed under reverse charge basis are 1 crore 20 lakhs. Okay, breakup of supplies are as follows. Now this breakup of supplies is of FY 2021, mind you. Intrastate supplies of goods X chargeable at 5% GST. So will you include it in the turnover in the state for charging GST under composition scheme? Of course, yes. Include it. Intrastate supplies made which are chargeable to GST at nil rate. Include it. Intrastate supplies which are wholly exempt under section 11. Please include it. Value of inward supplies on which GST is payable under reverse charge basis. Now, point is very important to understand here. We are not calculating aggregate turnover for deciding eligibility criteria. We are calculating total turnover in the state for deciding how much will be GST payable. But in that also it will not be included, because on inward supply, which is taxable on a reverse charge basis, concessional rate is not applicable. Okay, so it will be, GST will be payable at the specific rate applicable to this transaction. So what's the specific rate applicable to this transaction? Yes, it is given as check 5%. So on this 5 lakh you will pay at 5%. Did you understand what I am trying to tell you? Concessional rate is applicable only for outward supply of a person who has opted for composition scheme. Okay. Intrastate supplies of goods Y chargeable at 18% GST. So also include this. Please include this. Intrastate supply of services chargeable with GST at 5%. Also include this. And now comes one more important point. Interest earned on FD with bank. What are you supposed to do with interest earned on FD with bank? It will be excluded, meaning to say on this again GST under composition scheme is not payable. So don't include interest earned on FD even while calculating the turnover on which GST is payable. Agreed? So now can you please tell me what is the total of figures which are marked in green? On that you should calculate GST at 1%. Is it, check, 86 lakh 40,000? Check whether it is 86 lakh 40,000. So on 86 lakh 40,000 you calculate GST at 1%. Is it 86,400? And don't forget, on inward supply, which is taxable on reverse charge basis, it is your duty to pay GST. So 5 lakh into 5%. 5 lakh into 5%, 25,000. So 86,400 plus 25,000 will be the total GST payable. And you cannot use ITC for this. This has to be compulsorily paid in cash, because you are a composite dealer. You cannot avail ITC. Is the point clear to you? Yes. Very good. many things more to be understood in this question. Okay, please remember, many more things to be understood in this question. Okay, which means from exam perspective can become important in other questions. Okay, I want to ask you, do you remember the point that services should be given within a limit? There is a limit to give services if you opted for composition scheme. Yes. What is that limit? That limit is last year's, that is preceding financial year's aggregate turnovers 10%. Means 10% of aggregate turnover of last financial year, or 5 lakh rupees, whichever is higher. Now can you check in this question what is last financial year's turnover? It's given to you 1 crore 20 lakhs. So calculate 1 crore 20 lakhs into 10%, 12 lakh. So 12 lakh or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. So you could have given services up to 12 lakhs in the current financial year. Do you agree? You could have given outward supply of services up to 12 lakh rupees in current financial year. Do you all agree? And services worth, how much have you given? Tell me. Because if you exceed that, you are out of composition scheme. You have given worth 6 lakhs. Wonderful, wonderful. Well done, Sushma. Well done, Anand. 6 lakhs. Don't include this 8 lakh in that also. In short, interest on FD, interest on loan, interest on advances will be excluded at all 3 places as far as composition levy is concerned. What 3 places? Aggregate turnover under for determining eligibility. Second, for paying GST, the turnover for paying GST. And third, the total turnover of services for determining whether services provided are within limit. For all 3, you should exclude. Is the point very clear to all of you? Crystal clear? Yes, wonderful. Very good. One more point now I want to ask you in this question. If I was not manufacturer, but I was a trader as A Limited, then what would be tax payable? Will it change? It will change, because now it will be 1% of taxable turnover. So can you please calculate taxable turnover? Taxable turnover will be 30 lakhs plus 30 lakhs plus 6 lakhs, 66 lakhs. Of 66 lakhs, you calculate 1%. So check, it will be 66,000 and 25,000 continues. So final answer in that case will be 91,000. So take your time and tell me whether this second question is understood in the correct sense. Because lot of things worth understanding in this second question. Those who have understood well, please once say yes in the chat window. Very good. Okay, I want to cover with you one more question. Okay, one or two more interesting questions. See this Chanchal's question. Okay, as I told you now, some things are critical in GST. This is one of it. Means I keep on getting repetitive questions from students on these things. See Chanchal's question. Okay. Now, do you know that, first of all, before going to Chanchal's question, do you know that even a service provider will be eligible for composition scheme? That is of section 10(2)(a). Do you remember section 10(2)(a) composition scheme? That's my first question. If who is eligible for 10(2)(a? There are two conditions for 10(2)(a). Okay, actually it's simple. In last financial year, the aggregate turnover should not have exceeded dash 50 lakh rupees, and the registered person is not eligible for composition scheme of 10(1). If registered person is not eligible for 10(1) and last year's turnover is not exceeding 50 lakhs, if both these conditions are satisfied, then I am eligible for composition scheme of 10(2)(a). In short, if I am only service provider, will I ever fall in 10(1)? No. So only service provider has possibility of falling in 10(2)(a). Is it clear? That's one point I want to tell you. Secondly, those manufacturers of goods, those traders of goods whose service element exceeds 5 lakh rupees, but last year's turnover does not exceed 50 lakh rupees, even such manufacturers and traders may be eligible to opt for this 10(2)(a). Friends, under 10(2)(a, what is the rate of GST? Under means of course composition scheme of 10(2)(a, rate of GST is, do you remember, 6%? So 3% CGST, 3% SGST. So I guess Sushma and Sonal are telling me percentages of CGST. Yes. So yes, Ketki has given perfect answer. 3% CGST, 3% SGST. So total of 6%. Agreed? Now with this background, we can read the question. Okay. Chanchal started beauty parlor in name of C&C Beauty Center in Delhi on 1st April 21. Now important point, friends, here is started. So is the beauty parlor existing or is it newly started? It is newly started. On what date it is newly started? On 1st April 21. Do you agree with me that registration will not be required immediately? We have just now seen topic of registration. Registration will be required when aggregate turnover exceeds dash. It will be required when aggregate turnover exceeds rupees 20 lakhs. Because I am talking about service provider in Delhi. Okay, now see what happens. She opted to pay tax under section 10(2)(a in the said financial year. So she has opted for that composition scheme. Aggregate turnover of this C&C Beauty Center for quarter ending 30th June was 20 lakhs. Agreed? Okay. Tell me one thing. Till first 20 lakhs, is she even registered? No. She is not yet registered. Further, for half year ending 30 September, turnover reached 50 lakhs. Now the question for you is, how much would be GST paid till now under composition scheme of 10(2)(a? Will she pay on full 50 lakhs or will she pay on 30 lakhs only? That is my important question to you. So I am making you think on critical point. It will be paid only on 30 lakhs. Okay. Turnover in the state for paying tax excludes turnover from the first day of financial year till the date registration is obtained. So in short, first 20 lakh rupees is excluded. Did you understand what I said? First 20 lakh rupees is excluded for the sake of paying tax. So it will be paid only on 30 lakhs. Friends, will this same thing happen next year? This will not happen next year. This will happen only in the year in which business is started. Once in lifetime of the company it will happen. Entity. Agreed, na? Wonderful. C&C Beauty Center recorded rapid growth and turnover reached 70 lakhs by end of October 21. Now tell me, what will be liability for month of October, given that the rate of GST is say 18%? Tell me, you will pay GST on what amount? You will be paying GST only on 20 lakhs. Which 20 lakhs? 70 lakhs minus 50 lakhs. When does your composition scheme lapse? Your composition scheme lapses when? It lapses with effect from that day in the financial year when aggregate turnover exceeds 1.5 crores slash 75 lakhs slash 50 lakhs as the case may be. So in this case, the date when turnover exceeded 50 lakhs, composition scheme would have lapsed. So you all told me that on 20 lakhs you will be paying tax at 18%. That is rupees 3 lakh 60,000. Agreed? My simple question is, to pay that 3 lakh 60,000, can we use input tax credit? Absolutely yes. But to pay first 30 lakh rupees into 6%, that is 1 lakh 80,000, can we use input tax credit? So you have understood the point well, that a registered person who has opted for composition scheme cannot avail ITC. You have understood well that composition scheme will lapse with effect from that day when aggregate turnover exceeds the threshold limits. And after that, whatever supply you do, for doing that supply, whatever inward supply you use, you can claim ITC. Did you understand? Can anyone tell me what is one assumption done in this question while calculating the tax of 3 lakh 60,000? Yes, what is the assumption done? Yes, very good. That GST is collected separately. Yes, that 20 lakh rupees turnover over and above 50 lakhs is excluding GST. Very good, Ketki, Sushma. So all of you understood? My one more observation for you is that should we include first 20 lakhs in aggregate turnover for threshold limit? Yes, you should include. Very good. One more question they have asked you. C&C Beauty Center wishes to opt for composition scheme of 10-1 from next financial year. Is it possible to get composition scheme of 10-1 where the limit is 1.5 crores? No. Very mature audience? No. Why no? Because it is engaged only in providing services. Okay? Yes, wonderful. So this way you can go through this entire solution. We have discussed each and every part of it. One request to you will be, don't take total of 1 lakh 80,000 and 3 lakh 60,000. Why? Because I told you 180 you cannot claim ITC, 360 you can claim ITC. When you are under composition scheme, you are liable to pay GST on quarterly basis. When you are a normal taxpayer, you are paying GST on monthly basis. Correct? So there is a huge difference. So don't please take total of both. It doesn't make sense. A composite dealer will file GST return on annual basis. In which form? In GSTR 4 on annual basis. What's the due date of that filing? Due date of that filing is April 30, after the end of the financial year. And friends, they are paying quarterly, right? Those who have opted for composition scheme are paying quarterly. So can you tell me the statement in which they are giving the information of this payment to the government? That statement is GST CMP 08. Wonderful. So I hope all of you understood this very well. Okay, there is one big question coming up. I'll just read that question and then we will go to the next question of Aapki Dukaan, which I want to cover. Let me just read this question coming up. Sir, since they have opted for composition scheme at the start of the financial year, aren't they registered from the date of start of the financial year? Very good. They are not registered from date of start of financial year. There is such procedural part which you can comply and immediately opt for composition scheme. Okay. So I hope that part is resolved. Second question is, sir, application has to be made before the start of the financial year, but here business starts on 1st April. Yes. So that's what, there is a special procedure for that. Those who are starting the business, for them there is a special procedure that can be followed and they can opt for composition scheme. Yes. So I hope, Karthik, I have answered your questions. For newly started business, special compliances can be done. Yes. One more question is coming up from him. Sir, if they are registered at the start of the financial year, then that for 20 lakhs also we have to pay tax, right? Absolutely yes. But they are not registered. That is the whole point. If they were registered, that we would have called as voluntary registration. And when voluntarily registered, all provisions of the act apply as if registered. So yes, if they were registered from beginning of the financial year, they would start paying tax from beginning. Absolutely correct. But yes, now you got it to the point. Very good. But they are not registered in the given case. That's why we are not paying tax, any tax. Wonderful. Good questions. And now I hope that you got clarity also. Now on similar lines of what you can say, Chanchal's question, there is this question of Aapki Dukaan. Difference being, Chanchal's question was talking about in case of service provider, this is for goods. Principle and logic remains same. Mr. X opened retail shop Aapki Dukaan in Janta Market, Jaipur, Rajasthan on 1st April 21. He opted to pay tax under section 10(1) of CGST Act in the said financial year. See, can you again observe opened shop and can you again observe that its state is Rajasthan and opted to pay tax under 10(1). The aggregate turnover of retail shop for quarter ending 30 June 21 was 40 lakh. Further, for half year ending 30 September 21, the turnover reached 85 lakhs. So friends, for first 40 lakhs, was I registered? For first 40 lakhs, I was not registered. On 30th September 21, on how much I will pay tax under composition scheme? On how much? I will pay on 45 lakhs. 85 lakhs minus 40 lakhs. Agreed? Yes or no? Only one student gave the answer. But others, do you agree with me? You will pay tax only on 45 lakhs. First 40 lakhs don't pay tax. Because It is turnover till registration. Now, आपकी दुकान recorded a rapid growth and turnover reached 150 lakhs. Now tell me, in December quarter, you will pay GST under composition scheme on how much? On, see, cumulative turnover is given, you will pay on 65 lakhs. Very good. 150 minus 85. And now you are out of composition scheme. Do you agree? Now you will start paying on monthly basis. 165 lakhs was their turnover by end of January 22. So what's the turnover for the month of January? 15 lakhs. So on 15 lakhs, pay at the normal rate, that is 12%. It should be, it's given, 12% is given. So it should be 1,80,000. Now obviously, to pay that 1,80,000, you can avail and claim ITC and utilize ITC, but not for first amounts which you discussed. Did you understand? Again, please don't take total. Doesn't make sense to take total. Okay? Is it clear to all of you? Just once let me know in the chat window. Yes. Again, the assumption is that whatever turnover is executed above 150 lakhs, that is excluding GST. Okay, wonderful. So majority of the part you have understood. Now, just for the revision purpose, go through this. You are aware of this, that who is not eligible for composition levy, even if their turnover is within limits. So such person who is engaged in interstate supply of such goods which are not leviable to GST, then one who is engaged in manufacture of ice cream, pan masala, tobacco substitutes and aerated water, supplier who is either CTP or NRTP, and finally such a supplier who is engaged in supply of goods through e-commerce operator. Agreed? Yes. All these restrictions, as we discussed, will apply to 10(2)(a) also. Okay. Do you remember that there is one critical point, that if one unit opts for composition scheme, if one unit wants to avail composition scheme, then all units should opt for composition scheme. Yes, correct. So please know that as well. And this other small points you already know, that persons opted for composition scheme cannot collect output tax. You know that they have to issue document called as bill of supply. We have already seen this in documents. They cannot claim ITC. Return will be filed annually in GSTR 4, and composition scheme will lapse. Okay, in that in the financial year when the aggregate turnover exceeds the threshold limit. Yes. So I hope, friends, composition scheme topic is also very clear to all of you. Yes. Very good. We'll take you through some questions quickly. Or we'll give you some examples. You just let me know. Okay, anyways, understood now? Okay, if I am doing interstate supply, am I eligible for composition scheme? Interstate supply of taxable goods I am doing? No. Acha, one of the question which Priya is asking is, if one unit's turnover exceeds 1.5 crores, then all units under composition scheme will lapse. Okay, let me tell you, Priya, answer for this. Answer for this lies in definition of aggregate turnover. What is definition of aggregate turnover? Let it be for registration or let it be for composition levy. Definition of aggregate turnover is given in section 2, subsection 6. What is that definition? It includes intrastate supply, interstate supply, exports, yes or no, and even exempt supply of all persons having same PAN to be computed on all India basis. Yes or no? So understand, my Maharashtra's units turnover is 100 lakhs and my Gujarat units turnover is 60 lakhs in the last financial year. So what is my aggregate turnover? My aggregate turnover, Priya, is already 160 lakhs. So am I eligible for composition scheme this year? No. Wonderful. Again, now in this year I am not eligible. Another example. Last year aggregate turnover was not exceeding 150 lakhs. So I opted for composition scheme this year. In this year, turnover of Maharashtra unit is 120 lakhs and turnover of Gujarat unit is 40 lakhs. Now as soon as total of the turnover exceeds, yes, because aggregate turnover definition remains same. As soon as turnover of all units put together exceed 150 lakhs, my composition scheme will lapse. Is it clear to you now, Priya, this point? Yes, very good. And what if one of my unit is in AUMMMNST, one of these 8 special category states, then my overall aggregate turnover threshold limit will drop down to 75 lakhs. The way it drops down in registration from 40 lakhs to 20 lakhs / 10 lakhs, I think I'm audible, right? Just change the batteries, that's it. Okay, so I just revised it. I hope you understood it. Okay, what else I want to tell you? Fine. If one of my selling is of non-taxable goods, am I eligible for composition scheme? I am not eligible, because even if my aggregate turnover is up to 1.5 CR / 75 lakhs as the case may be, not eligible. Okay, trader of pan masala, is it okay? Yes. Trader of pan masala is okay. What is not okay? Manufacturer of ice cream, pan masala, tobacco substitutes and aerated water. So manufacturer, problem is with manufacturer. Okay, so there is a supplier, trader of pan masala in Delhi whose aggregate turnover is 70 lakhs in last year. Is he eligible for composition scheme? Of course, yes. But if he was not a trader but manufacturer of pan masala, then not eligible. Did you understand this point? Yes, very good. So this way I think you have understood composition Levy. If any doubt, please let me know. And just check, now our coverage of marks would be more than 30 from past few sessions. Okay, do cover your place of supply also. Those who have not covered, I give you the time today to cover. Okay, I don't want to bombard you unnecessarily. Now in next session when we meet tomorrow, our agenda will be input tax credit. Okay, very important topic of input tax credit. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow with topic of ITC. I'll leave you with some spare time today. Of course, we started early. Acha, there is one doubt. Wait. It can be useful for all. In registration, I had a doubt. Okay. One of the previous year question paper contained a question. Okay. So for sure, I think it will be covered in Taxman Cracker. But still, let's see. It can be helpful for all of you. Agriculturist supplies his produce from his land to a buying agent for 42 lakhs. And he supplies the produce of his friend, okay, out of friend's land of rupees 5 lakhs. Is he eligible, or rather is he liable for registration? Okay. Now agriculturist is not liable for registration to the extent of agricultural produce. That is the exemption given in section 23 from registration. Now if you calculate aggregate turnover here, it is 47 lakhs. Correct? 42 plus 5, 47 lakhs. So his aggregate turnover is 47 lakhs. But my question to you is, even if sold out of friend's land, the agricultural supply will be non-taxable. And if I am engaged exclusively in supply of non-taxable goods or non-taxable services or exempted goods or exempted services, then I am exempted from obtaining registration. So no need to obtain registration. Clear? Yes. Okay, then I'll see you tomorrow with the topic of input tax credit. Thank you. Have a nice studying time.